Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome back to another Choopo reaction. This is the bizarre lore of McDonald's. Oh god, yeah. You know what's funny? If it wasn't for especially when I was younger, I'd watch people like the Nostalgia Critic and stuff like that when he'd review commercials and stuff like that, and there was this whole world of McDonald's that was shown in advertising before I was born. And I know this video came out, a little while ago, at the time of recording 12 days ago. But finally getting around to it now, thankfully. But yeah, it's weird to think. Because, nowadays, if I was given the choice between McDonald's and, literally anything else, I would take the literally anything else. Because, really, I look at McDonald's and all I see is very overpriced junk. Honestly, I stopped eating McDonald's when they took the Angus burger off the menu, because that was the only one I liked. And even if you go back, further than that, I remember when I was a kid, when I was a little kid, there was one particular McDonald's we'd pretty much always go to. And I forget, what was the reason, but it was probably, whenever we were, going to, coming home from church or something when I was a little kid. And it'd be the McDonald's, and it had an actual play place in it with the climby tubes and the ball pit. It even had one of those forgetting what those play center console things. I think I played a Kirby game on there for a long time. It was so much fun. Of course, you look at every McDonald's now and they're all McCafes, and they're all gray and dark brown boxes, along with almost every other major fast food chain out there now. Ugh. So, just to say, I have no strong attachments to McDonald's. I mean, I look back and, I'm well aware that they have this huge assortment of characters besides Ronald McDonald, which even Ronald McDonald they haven't pulled out in a long time, which I think they kind of stopped. I think they, quietly shoved him off to the side when those, weird people dressed as clowns in the States were a thing. But even then, in my lifetime, I've never seen a McDonald's commercial that had Ronald McDonald in it, or any of the other characters. Which, just thinking off the top of my head, there's Grimace, which I remember because of the Grimace shake. There's the Hamburglar. What was the mayor? Was it literally Mayor McCheese or something like that? He was his head was a cheeseburger. And then there's the bird girl. I literally don't remember what her name is. It's just, I mean, the more I think about it, the sadder it gets, because really, I mean, they put so much time and money into these advertisements, making these characters, and they've just thrown them out essentially at this point. It is really sad. I mean, honestly, thinking about it, thinking back when I was a little kid, I mean, when my mom says that I absolutely loved the pizzas when they made them. I have no memory of that. But also thinking about it, I remember when I was a really little kid, really liking the grilled cheese on the kids menu. But it wasn't a couple of years later, I thought about it and remembered, and thinking back to it, I remembered, or realized I should say, that their grilled cheese was literally, their the plastic processed cheese in between a couple of burger buns. I think they were just flipped inside out so the flat side was out or something like that. Oh god. Oh god, the wonders of youth. Oh, but god, yeah, I really don't have anything else to say on the topic, so I mean, let's see what kind of lore was in the McDonald's advertisements of yesteryear. So yeah, of course, as always, original video is linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day. And if you like this video or any other video that I make, I would very much appreciate it if you gave the video a like and subscribe to my channel. All those little things help my channel in the algorithm. And I'm hoping to hit 5,000 subscribers, sometime this year, which, would be very nice. But yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
For over 50 years, McDonald's has remained a massive influence in fast food and entertainment as a whole. However, during all this time, a cast of characters have been coexisting in a massive and growing story. So let's take a look at what's been going on
have
throughout.
there been modern,
Hi everybody, I'm here in the sewer.
commercials?
Because today's topic is so whimsical, I thought I'd best try to match the mood of an interior of a modern McDonald's. Now you may think of McDonald's as a famous burger spot found at every corner of the world, but I promise you by the end, you will see the restaurant and especially its characters in a new light. Because trust me, there's been a ton that's happened with these franchise mascots. Now, McDonald's takes place between Earth and McDonald's Land. Its proper pronunciation is McDonald Land, but that sounds significantly dumber, so we're not going to call it by the correct name. McDonald's Land is simultaneously like the pocket dimension and
McDonald Land could definitely work out.
Additional part of Earth that can be traveled to through play places and McDonald's establishments. I would say our starting point is going to be like 1960.
So does that mean that, you know, in modern day, you can't get to McDonald Land anymore since they got rid of all the play places?
Can't quite determine the exact order of events within the commercials around this time, so bear with me as we go on an onslaught of these
early
nightmare
Ronald
creatures.
McDonald.
Following the events of the 2016 film The Founder, which is probably faithful enough to the real-world story, and his rise to power, Michael Keaton built play place portals capable of letting us see the wonderful world of McDonald's Land to better understand the intricacies of the product. At the start of this epic saga, we have Ronald McDonald, Donald McDonald of Japan, the strongest
Donald
character
McDonald
who just shows up one random day, and just like everything else, Ronald is the amalgamation of everything chaotic good. He has an incentive to endorse his specific food brand across the adventures he goes on for some unknown reason. Maybe it's his company, maybe he owes his life, or maybe it's because he quite literally lives and breathes in McDonald's, and as seen, he loves interacting with people, and by making these commercials, he's hoping new friends will come and visit him. It's unknown if Ronald has a greater family. There's official concept art that to fruition of a full family, but they never get shown, so I'm gonna assume it's a behind-the-scenes thing where he has like a wife and kids and his endorsements are a side gig. Now initially Ronald was more of an idea, a facade. He was still kind of identifying what in specific he was trying to be. Like you'd find old garbage at the back of the restaurant and wear that, somehow creating a magic tray capable of creating an infinite supply of food. Oh
god, yeah, that was one of those old commercials that I saw on Nostalgia Critic. I guess that was just sort of the thing at the time with like mascots, but the fact that you literally have him wearing the food, like, it's really weird. Like, I like the more modern, incarnation and design a lot better.
Alongside that, we have the first true entryways into McDonald's Land, this being a utopia if you like $2 hamburgers. The agriculture of McDonald's Land is astonishing. Burger plants, talking plants, entire restaurants can be grown and shipped out, saving millions.
Actually, wait a second, what? I remember I looked it up a while ago on, like, a food theory or something like that. How much does, like, in Canadian dollars, how much does just, like, a regular burger cost? Like, a single quarter pounder? Yeah, look, in Canadian dollars right now, near me, a quarter pounder with cheese is $9. Wait a second, and a quarter pounder without cheese is also $9. This is part of the reason I don't eat at McDonald's. There are other fast food joints that are just as expensive, but they have much better food.
Of dollars worth on buildings. These farms have seen bad times with chemicals being introduced into the building plants, and that's why new places lack the whimsy. They look like office buildings. That's why food's so easy to produce at McDonald's. Michael Keaton exports grass-fed McDonald's food and buildings through the portals. This is also when characters start getting pumped out. Each character exists in marketing with the purpose of endorsing and advertising some portion of the McDonald's menu.
Okay, I was unaware there was a pirate.
And half of them hate Ronald with a big old burning passion. Not all the living burgers, though. There's Mayor McCheese, Officer Big Mac, and all the other hamburglings love Ronald and what he does, which is...
Okay, wait. Again, never seen it, but I have to ask, does Officer Big Mac speak with an Irish accent? He has to, with a name like Big Mac.
It's basically what Officer Big Mac is supposed to do. He's very bad at his job. His only role is to arrest this other guy, the Hamburglar, and he escapes every commercial. It's incredible. Now, the Hamburglar does exactly what it sounds like, burgles the hams because he likes eating them. Hate to say it, but having a character who exists just for abducting children in hopes of eating them doesn't sound very marketable, but it's okay. He's a mainstay now. And then after that, the McDonald's people said, let's make the Hamburglar again, but a pirate. And that's why Captain Crook exists, with the same reason of stealing a menu item, this time the Filet-O-Fish. I'm sure you're all shocked to hear this character isn't very popular. How many people get a fish at McDonald's? That's on you. Then
I mean, granted, it has been a while since I've had it, but I have had the Filet-O-Fish before, and, I don't see why everybody hates it. It's, like, it's on the same level as all other McDonald's food. And, okay, and while I'm talking about, McDonald's food and like, its quality and stuff like that, can I just say, I find people are way too attached to the Chicken McNuggets. The Chicken McNuggets are not that special. You only like them because of nostalgia. There are other chicken nuggets out there that are not McDonald's branding that are a lot better.
There's the Professor, and truth be told, he's pure filler. Every once in a while he makes an invention, and that's really about it. Professor's main objective is trying to make the perfect burger, and every time Ronald corrects him, stating McDonald's already has the perfect burger, and despite having proof directly shown to him, he continues with his goals anyway. He's got a flat earther mindset, but I agree, Culver's is right there. I like Culver's more. More weird characters. Okay, so the Fry Kids are these gibberish pom-pom freaks that run around and gobble up fries. This is the point where I realized the mascot characters in that one episode of Smiling Friends were based on all of these guys. Same deal with the Happy Meal gang and the McNugget buddies. More tiny foods that also live here and are friends with Ronald, being the clown warrior of peace he.
God, so many commercials were made before I was even born, or, even just too young to remember. God.
Is another iconic character, Grimace. He's purple and stupid and purple.
And apparently he's supposed to be a taste bud? I don't know how that works.
I guess he used to be like a four-armed monster in this primitive McDonald's era. Grimace's character will develop significantly in the future, as we all know, but for the time being, he also wants to steal the food, this time it being milkshakes. They're making characters to make characters. I don't like any of you. The last worthwhile character added to this point is Birdie the Early Bird, existing to promote the breakfast menu. One day, a few of the other characters find this giant egg, and she just comes out immediately, aged a few years, fully clothed, ready to enter the workforce. Birdie's the girl character. You can tell because she has hair and eyelashes, and why is she promoting McDonald's meals known for having eggs? Actually, how do any of these characters feel about being sold for consumption? Why are they okay with it? Is it a religion thing? Is it for purpose? Why are we doing any of this? It's awful. It's awful. It truly.
Well, to be fair, the burgers you eat aren't sentient, so it might very well be, hey, we got it, like, these might be, oh god, these might be like the stillborns or something like that they're getting rid of. Oh god, that's not a nice thought. Why did I think of that?
Really is awful. Ignoring all the morally questionable food shenanigans, let's talk about lawsuits. After about a decade of Ronald being a protector and promoter of the sacred McDonald's brand, McDonald's got sued because of plagiarism. Initially, they wanted these guys, Sid and Marty Krofft, to help with the commercials, but partway through it fell through. And after a while, it seemed like these early commercials had something suspicious and malicious going on, something you probably couldn't tell unless you were a Donnie Doo expert. And over the age of 30 at the time. To anyone over the age of 60, first off, you can't hide. There's YouTube analytics. I know you're here. I hope you're doing well, by the way. Second, you might just remember the similar looking show made by the Krofft brothers called HR Pufnstuf that was pretty popular. In actuality, McDonald's Land took a ton of this series, and long story short, McDonald's owed Sid and Marty Krofft a hefty hunk and chunk of doubloons, also needing to reform a good amount of the world to proceed with the IP. So, in 1985, most of the cast in the world got redesigned. In addition, Mayor Big Cheese and Officer Big Mac were permanently removed from the cast. Maybe they retired, maybe the Hamburglar burgled them to death. We may never know, and to be honest, they were pure filler. The most Big Cheese ever did was host Ronald and Grimace having a race around the world for a single burger. That may or may not be a child of his. I don't know where it begins or where it ends. Is any of this okay? Captain Crook and the Professor also basically get dropped from here. They both appear a couple more times, and they're really just additional friends, if anything. Off-screen, Ronald's so likable that he successfully reformed Grimace, somehow removing his spare arms in the process. Alongside this, Hamburglar is being a criminal. A little less, though. So whenever the team need a fourth member, it's gonna be the Potato Chip Rat Man. From 1985 to about the...
God, what is it about the Hamburglar design? Birdie, Grimace, Ronald... their designs are staying, more or less, the same. And apart from, the arms thing on Grimace and stuff like that. But the Hamburglar's design, why is it either, cute and familiar or weird and creepy? Why is it always flip-flopping?
Early 2000s, we learned a significant amount about the characters and the world. Important things like Ronald's boots having an origin story. This being that the Tooth Fairy gave him a pair. He's never had to like change his boot size. They're sentient. How do you do anything if everything's alive? Sentient food ready for consumption already creates a number of problems in morality.
Sentient
I've always been
shoes?
horrified when this happens in stuff like classic cartoons where everything has eyes and can talk and whatever, because be honest, would you be okay with wearing clothes if your pants were alive? Is it painful or comforting for socks to be used? Or would it be considered like some kind of cuddling? Is it an intimate thought for them? Could you develop genuine feelings for a sentient jean jacket? I'm moving on.
No, not thinking about it. No.
Grimace has an extended family tree. Don't think about it too hard. It's just nature running its course. Uncle O Grimacy comes in every March for the Shamrock Shakes, aka the worst milkshakes on the planet. I don't like him by association. He also has aunts that meet up for a picnic one time. They don't have forearms. Maybe it was like an aggression thing for the Grimmarians to have. I don't know. I can't quite ask one. Though I'm gonna...
Well, maybe thinking about it, maybe the reason why Grimace was so mean in the beginning was because he had forearms. Like, maybe he was quite literally a mutant. It was like a birth defect or something like that. Who knows?
Assume it's like a domestication thing. Another new character time. This green thing shows up a couple times. Its name is I Am Hungry. McDonald's really just misses a lot of the time. Like, does this make you want to have oversalted fries and a burger with perfectly wrong temperature mini pickles? I sure hope not. Like, why would you introduce a new character for virtually no reason? Is it for marketing? Storytelling?
And of
this
course,
is something that you don't need more creatures for.
And of course, it was the weird 90s CGI. Oh god, that didn't fit into the scene at all.
It's a waste.
You said it, pal.
Who are you?
Who are you?
It's me, your best pal, Little Choop. I add to your witty jokes. I like volunteering and board games, and I even collect stamps. Don't mind me, buddy, oh pal. I'm just happy to be here.
Collecting stamps. I know that, you know, that they say, like, whenever you make, like, a character or a joke, something like that, where it's like, oh, they collect stamps to say that they're, like, some of the most boring people on the planet. But honestly, like, some of the defects and stuff like that, I've seen, like, some of the weirder stamps can be, like, pretty cool, and, like, the history that's behind them. But honestly, how many people actually collect stamps? Like, the market... Like, I would think that was very much like a baby boomer thing. I don't think very many people nowadays go into stamp collecting.
All right. Anyway, at this point, the McDonald's people were so aware of how much their funny characters had the same quality and appreciation as the carpet of an antique store and decided to change that around. So in 1987, one of the coolest dudes in the universe would make his debut,
him.
Mac Tonight. Funny Moon Man playing that dang flying piano. Holy moly, what a champ. I sure hope nothing bad happens to this character or his image. Mac Tonight is a character who shows up in only a few commercials of this era, promotes the food as an end-of-day meal, sings a lovely little tune, and then leaves. Now this makes me want to drink some Sprite that lets me feel every individual vein I have. Get out of here, Captain Stupid. Anyway,
what was his
else is
name?
going
Captain
on during...
Crook, yeah.
Icky. 1988. Oh my god, that skin tumor's alive! So you've heard of E.T., right? I'm sure everybody has. The one with the moon and the bike and that gross rotten finger that looks like mine after I punched a saw that one time. But then plagiarism did a plagiarism and out popped Mac and Me, which is about the same movie, but instead there's a family of aliens that get brought to Earth after nearly starving to death, and the only thing that can save them is the refreshing taste of a Coca-Cola.
Oh my god, seriously? Like, Mac and Me is one of those movies I've heard of, never seen. And when they showed Mac and Me, I assumed, like, oh, there was, you know, they were going to have, like, some sort of advertising campaign, you know, given that the alien's name is Mac. But honestly, is that actually a plot point in the movie? Where like, the aliens can only eat McDonald's or something like that? Is that really true?
This is what your body would look like if it was 70% Coke instead of water. Still, you might be asking, Choopo, you wonderful, beautiful, 6'4" mountain of muscles. What does this have to do with McDonald's? Well, near the halfway point, the main kids and the scrotum alien all go to a McDonald's birthday party, and Ronald's there. And then you might go, oh yeah, that's a costume. That doesn't have to be wrong. You're wrong. The credits explicitly say Ronald was played by Ronald, so this has to be part of the story, and it is. This is mandatory, and it's canon.
Oh god, no, yeah, I think I've heard of that before. Where, like, they'll have actors coming in as Ronald, but it's kind of like a Disney thing, where it's always just Ronald. It's like, there's no actors, it's just Ronald that goes around. Oh, no. Oh god, this is weird. So Ronald has canonically met aliens. No!
Hooray! To be fair, this little alien dancing on the McDonald's cashier counter is essential to the plot, regardless of the angle you look at it. Simply put, this is a thin veil for a giant commercial. Like, Mac's name comes from the Big Mac, so you know what? He should be a mascot character, not Hamburglar, not the professor. The McDonald's restaurant scene is by far the greatest part of the movie. Now, the movie mainly just shows the kids freaking out when they see Mac do virtually anything. His actions commit property damage, his design commits retinal damage. He saves the main kid from drowning after his wheelchair takes him off a cliff. I could ignore everything once the government shows up and the gang.
Okay, I may have been lying before. I think I have seen that, the wheelchair part of him rolling off the cliff. I think I saw that on YouTube once. Oh my god, why? Oh god, talk about product placement. My name is McDonald's.
Skedaddles from the McDonald's regardless. I just want to share the ending real quick because it's Mac and me. When else am I going to be able to? This movie is a beautiful accident just like me. Following a near bar for bar ET retelling with the alien who drinks Coke that looks like a plastic bag with flesh, the movie ends with the alien family being reunited and still taken into hiding by the ragtag group of main kids when the...
Okay, already, because like I know this movie was, you know, a cheap cash grab of ET and stuff like that. But could they have not, like, I see, like, the eyes of the alien prop are actually really expressive, like how there's, like, it's moving around looking and stuff like that. But its mouth, it's just always like this. It doesn't change at all. Like, I can understand if you wanted to have, like, the one alien, the one, like, head or puppet, or the alien is like, like, you know, as a shock or surprise. But you couldn't have given him, like, any other mouths? Like, you couldn't have had it be, like, Wallace and Gromit, where the mouth is, like, detachable and replaceable with other mouth shapes? Like that is that's the cheap part. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that the mouth shape literally never changes, the movie would look, you know, 20 times better. Granted, you know, that's, you know, 20 times like 0.1, which would be like 2, but still, you know, it's something.
The characters need supplies, the aliens walk into a grocery store, and the father alien gets a gun, so there's a shootout, and the really nice wheelchair kid goes in to try to help, and the gas station blows up everything, killing all 5 of them instantly. And after the kid's body gets retrieved, guess what? The aliens aren't dead. No! They survive the explosion, and they rise from the flames looking ominous and horrifying.
Okay, I take it back. This movie is 100 times better than E.T.
They go to the kid, pray an alien prayer, and the kid rises once again. Hallelujah! And there's still more. The aliens become official humans at a church, and somehow they learned how to drive before they learned how to speak. The ground beef monsters can drive. In terms of quality ratings, Mac and Me currently has a 3.4. In my opinion, maybe it should be higher, maybe it should be lower. I don't think it should be 3.4 though. I love this too much. If you ever want to make a horror movie or anything remotely scary, just use some wrinkly, practical, uncanny Muppet thingies. It's always been effective. It's worked on me. And if you're wondering what Grimace is doing during this period, how does Grimace have a network like this at all? 1990, the McDonald's gang gets like weirdly obsessed with the concept of Treasure Island, reading books, and become super story-oriented for like no real reason. Like, this decade sees a lot of genuine attempts at storytelling, and it's kind of strange to watch. There's one Treasure Island movie that's just a recreation of the Treasure Island book, but with a Grimace in it. Not too much.
Wait a second. Was there actually... I think I remember hearing about, like, there actually being, like, a McDonald's animated series at one point. Oh god, was that a thing? Hopefully Choopo talks about it, because, like, I'm having major brain fog about it right now.
Much to add there. By the way, I'm pretty sure this is the final appearance of Captain Crook, so he just helps him out. Kind of a weird way for the fish fillet guy to go, but sure. In 1993, the same thing happens, but this time it's not the same. Ronald finds a quarter of a treasure map and uses his clown vision to detect the poor souls holding the other pieces that are therefore getting in his way. Based on aura alone, all people in the way of Ronald are better off writing their wills and buying a coffin because, oh geez, he obliterates all those opposed to him. If you saw Ronald in a fighting game, you'd understand. This is technically the most of McDonald's land we get to see. Overall, a whimsical little place where anything can happen. Pretty above average technical utopia in my opinion. So when Ronald puts the map together, he discovers that the treasure is located on the moon. Here's where the professor can actually contribute. Here he helps to build a rocket that crashes. What?
We are now at McDonald's. You know, the fast food joint you see in every single anime ever.
I will be the one who breaks the sales record for black pepper fries.
What a character, wow. So now Ronald and his friends are stranded on the moon finding this treasure, and after a long battle against the distant cousin of one of those green Mucinex guys, Ronald declares, "Alright, Chief, this treasure's useless if I can't go home. I would like it if I could go home and do that." And so, the treasure turns out to basically be this like Bifrost fast travel thing. Nothing spent, nothing gained. Ronald is now able to warp to your address. You're never far away enough from Grimace. And as per usual, Ronald is able to befriend all the enemies he meets, proving yet again he's unironically one of the kindest people in media. The professor's last appearance was this teleportation machine in this one animated short called Ronald and the Adventure Machine. I would call the professor filler, but to be filler in this cast is a compliment. There's just so many
Yeah, I mean, when your entire cast is literally, you know, fast food mascots where like 99% of their, you know, appearances is in, you know, commercials and stuff like that, at that point you're a couple of steps below being actual filler.
Random one-off characters, dude. You look at the Happy Patch Gang, a sentient food group. Remember this one. I look at Cosmic, and it's just like an alien guy. He establishes McDonald's goes beyond our greater solar system. Ronald's an intergalactic peace icon for the brand. Somehow this character in specific is getting a restaurant named after him. It's like if the next Toy Story was about that one hedgehog guy. Also,
I'm sorry, Cosmix? Wait, no, I think I heard about that. What are they going to sell, though? If it's a McDonald's knockoff. Latte. Lots of lattes. Wait, is this a coffee? Is this a coffee shop? Spicy queso sandwich. Creamy avocado tamale sandwich. Bites, savory hash browns, pretzel. Okay. I didn't know. Okay. It has been more than 30 years since Cosmic has been seen on Earth. The alien would often drop by McDonald Land on trade missions to steal food and take it home to Cosmic Land. But during one mission in the late 80s, Cosmic got all 6 hands on McDonald's menu items and never returned. Is that really the story they're going with? In another galaxy, Cosmic began experimenting with these menu items alongside some unique beverages. Ones that would not only complement the food but stand alone as the perfect mood boost for all beings. As the curious creature began slinging these beverages to fellow aliens, it didn't take long before the entire planet wanted more fast. Lifting humans up with every step, with millions and millions of aliens served, Cosmic decided it was time to bring this menu down to Earth to let humans order exactly what they crave with their unique spin to lift them up. That literally didn't answer any of my questions. Yeah, so this is literally it's a coffee shop. Okay.
So as Ronald was on a treasure hunt, Hamburglar was causing problems of his own. There was
course.
MC Kids, a game that was about Hamburglar
Oh, God,
stealing
I think
Ronald's
I've seen
bag,
Angry Video Game Nerd play
I don't
that
know what
one.
the relationship is anymore. I thought they were friends. Sometimes they're enemies, but from the sounds of this, Ronald might just be like some weird type of rehab for Hamburglar. Regardless, he's a dick. Commercial-wise, we got about the same story as the 80s. Just these characters interacting and promoting. At one point, they have multiple commercials following them trying to stop the voice-stealing monster. And again, these couple decades do blend in. The highlight of this era would be the influx of adventures, the attempts to tell real stories. The gangs just have a thing for going on quests. Adventure to McDonald Land and Mission to McDonald Land on the CD-ROM. These are typical wacky hijinks games. I'm a big fan of how discomforting this looks. Whenever I take Benadryl, this is what my dreams the following night.
Honestly, this, it doesn't even look real. Like, this looks like the weird parody that you'd see in, like, a modern, like, mascot horror game or something like that. Like, these don't look like real graphics. They look like parodies of the, you know, the graphics back then. Oh my god.
Look like. I would say there's something wrong with me, but I feel like that's pretty obvious. I wrote about Wizard 101 at the length of a thesis. It's 75 pages. Make kids adventures. Once again, Ronald is left unattended with a number of children, but he tries his best to be a positive role model. He can't really help his clown makeup genetic condition. He's making the best of what he can. It's a commendable effort, and I think you gotta be a little dense and insincere if you can't at least recognize his intentions as an individual. He means well, and in my opinion, he does. I feel like you gotta be kind of stupid if you don't like Ronald. The next important point to look at...
I mean, that's the thing. I've never been afraid of clowns. I honestly don't see why, you know, some people are scared of them. Like, again, nothing wrong with Ronald McDonald. He just, you know, represents a rather mediocre fast food company that's inexplicably popular.
Lasts from 1988 to 2003. For some incomprehensible reason, Klasky Choopo, that one horrifying face that's spelled completely different from this Choopo, but pronounces the same because the English language is inherently flawed, they took the time to make hour-long adventures following the characters through their McDonald Land adventures. And this is, strangely enough, one of the most important entries of the series. It characterizes the main cast in a way we don't really get to see much outside of short interval commercials. Within seconds, we learned a bunch of new stuff. Ronald, despite being the McDonald's man, lives in a cartoonishly silly building in a real world, so I guess he just commutes, he takes the bus. Second, we have a new character.
Either that or, you know, he has a home in each location. You know, one's a summer home, while the other's his regular place of residence. Who knows?
Ronald has a talking dog, and you know what? That sounds cool. An extra nice animal companion to round out the gang. I don't like Sunday the dog.
I have seen this, not in person though. I think I think I saw a review of this from somebody on YouTube. I remember that dog. I'm not entirely sure though, but I do remember that dog. Nightmare Fuel, why?
It's weird and weird looking. I'd like to believe Ronald puts lipstick on his dog. Would it be morally wrong to hope this dog finds a bag of grapes?
I like grapes. When I grow up, I want to be one of those people who stomp grapes into juice.
Lil Choop, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but you can't interrupt unless it's really funny and justified.
Oh yeah, I know that, but I just thought we could get grapes after this and like pick them out of bags in the grocery store.
You know what? That sounds like fun. You're starting to grow on me, you lovable little pimple you. McDonald's Land is...
Oh, God. Eating food at the grocery store as a very little kid. Yeah, I remember that. I mean, granted, like, whenever I did do it, you know, my mom has always been, you know, very honor-bound when it comes to that stuff. So, I mean, specifically, like, the Loblaws that was near my childhood home, we'd go there, you know, when I was really young, and I'd say, like, oh, I'm hungry. And she'd grab, like, from, like, the baked goods section, because at the time they had, like, you know, the loose bagels and buns and stuff like you bag yourselves, then you pay based on the number and stuff like that. She'd buy, like, she'd get me, like, a blueberry bagel, and then when we got to checkout, if I wasn't still munching on it and had already eaten it, she'd say, oh, yeah, and one blueberry bagel in here, and she'd point at me and stuff like that. Oh, God. Those were the days.
It's animated in this story so we can easily distinguish when characters are in either world. It represents McDonald play places being a temporary escape from the brutal shackles of reality crushing human ambition. It's why slides made in McDonald locations act as portals to the land. Played places are public access warping locations. But that doesn't mean a few characters don't look off though. Birdie looks like she yearns for the taste of human flesh. Grimace looks fine outside of his purple eyes based on the flora of this world, along with just looking at Grimace and how he acts. I'm gonna assume Grimace smokes some heavy, wacky, kooky, crazy McDonald's milkshake cannabis. As for Hamburglar though, he's dripping swag like a broken faucet.
Actually, thinking about it, looking at that design for Hamburglar. Oh god, who animated this? Because that looks a lot like, what was it, a show on Nickelodeon or something like that. What is the name? I can't remember I can't remember the specific show, but one of the shows that had like a similar animation style was like Rugrats All Grown Up or something like that. Like, he looks like a character that could be in that show. Like, even then, even forgetting like the fact he's the Hamburglar. I mean, you look like you just pop him from here into there, like with no changes. Like,
Rehab's reformed him into becoming like a pranking friend now. Ronald's rehab seems to be going good for him. Hope he keeps it up. Alongside the regulars, the Fried Kids show up occasionally. The McNuggets are usually evil. Ronald's doing a bad job redeeming this trio. And then there's just actual kids who hang out with the gang. I don't know who these are. These are children. There's 6 episodes. I'll go over everything kind of notable, kind of quickly. They're an okay watch. Good level of charm to it, but the general theme is the gang going on adventures, learning lessons along the way. Episode 1 is about everyone going camping. They get rained out and they go into shelter, which they think is a haunted mansion, also leaving Ronald's talking car. By the way, Ronald has a talking car, which...
Because it's a cartoon, of course he does!
Why are you taking slides? You have a vehicle here. The cast gets abducted until...
Well, I mean, honestly, like, which is more fun? You know, driving or sliding down a slide? I can tell you which one I'd rather do.
It's revealed at the end the McNuggets were challenging them to puzzles. And then one of the kids has like a college professor father who gives them a stern talking to. It's mostly exposition. Pull up your socks for this one.
Why is Grimace in 3D?
From Grimace Island. Initially, the Grimace tribe lived peacefully on the mainland until another tribe stole all their shit. So they danced and got away from society, ripping apart tectonic plates in the process. Although, why would you name your kid after your country? If your island is named Grimace, why would you name your kid Grimace? That's like naming your kid Argentina or Argentino if it's a boy. It's just Grimace. All of his other family members have regular names. His brother is King Ganga, but Grimace is just Grimace. My son is named Venezuela. In this tale, some pirates give Grimace a fake invitation back so he can lead the way to his home, and they get absolutely curb stomped in the process because they thought shooting a fish cannonball at an entire country in broad daylight could get them treasure. No, they get tickled to death.
And I mean, you could have had Captain Crook come back. I mean, honestly, come on.
Actually die to some sharks. Appropriate time for a dance party ending. Next episode, Hamburglar falls back into bad habits. This leads him to almost being stuck on a 3,000-year vacation. Somehow he's even more inconsistent than my audio quality. Don't believe me? When Ronald's birthday comes up, he feels legitimately awful for not having a present. Then he runs into the new professor who scams him, eventually tries to turn the entire world into babies for some goddamn reason. The most important thing to pick up here is that Sunday stops showing up in live action form. Tragically though, he's still present, just no more puppet. I'm okay with that, even though he looks undercooked and taxidermied at the same time. This is when we learn the Grimace species has kangaroo pouches.
I mean, granted, the cartoon version of Shake is a lot better than the live action puppet. Oh.
In episode 5, they're doing chores in the lab from the first episode so they can all hang out. This is when they find a prototype time machine and the Hamburglar thinks time traveling forward can get them out of chores. That's not how time travel works. Chores will not get done if you time travel forward.
No, I mean, if you're going to do something like that, what you need to do is time travel back so then you have twice as many people to do the chores so they get done twice as quickly.
Hamburglar, pick a side. So yeah, time travel's canon. Thank
God, and now they're wearing Flintstones clothes. Okay.
Western time. Mayor McCheese shows up for a cameo. I would assume this is pre-1985, so it's still up in the air if he was killed or not. Also, this implies the lawsuit stuff virtually does not matter anymore. The McDonald's folks simply just don't want to include them. The gang's looking up for McDonald's Loch Ness Monster. There's also a Scottish relative of Sunday named Scotty. Nothing else of value here. This is the finale, by the way. We never see Sunday or these chicken nuggets for a good while. This show, even though it was able to expose us to more of the world. Personally, I learned a lot about McDonald's, the standards, the expectations, most of all that I don't really like Birdie. She was kind of annoying, kind of scary. To be fair, I'm bothered by a majority of the cast, and the only one I openly enjoy is Ronald, because he's really hard to hate, existing as a good person who teaches valuable life lessons. I mean, he really has world-ending capabilities, but he simply chose a peaceful path in life that I can really respect. Now,
Yeah, he just wants everybody to eat his hamburgers. I mean,
come to think of it, after this in the 2000s, there's a humongous drought of McDonald's content involving any of the characters. Like, they'd still be in a lot of the places, but they weren't really utilized throughout the decade. Grimace shows up one time in 2009 for a brief cameo in Monsters vs. Aliens and an ad, but ultimately, in this period, the main crew and the world that's been built up for the previous decades are entirely ignored. This is McDonald's having a midlife crisis. You know it's bad when Obama and Shrek are getting more screen time than I Am Hungry. The only character to remain remotely consistent in use was Ronald, and I'm trying really, really hard to not have any emotional empathy with any of the cast, but Ronald is just a nice guy. Sometimes he goes into houses and offers free McDonald's, and the parents are always trusting because of this clown. Because Ronald is a good
Quite
soul,
literally, yeah.
the complete opposite of the company he represents. He feels no wrath, he eats the food from the opposition because he's indifferent toward food rivalries. I feel like all these ads so far have more than proved he's significantly more compelling and likable than we think. So it sucks how little he's used at points, regardless of how you feel of McDonald's or the food itself. It's funny how iconic and beloved this character is, and how he could have been with different contexts. But anyway, things change in the 2010s. It gets worse.
Really?
The characters get used even less. No Birdie, no
okay.
Grimace, hardly any Ronald. They made the Hamburglar attractive for some reason. Why are you endorsing burger theft, McDonald's? The easiest way to make people want to not commit crime is to make them look as lame as possible. Now, I don't know if I like Hamburglar or not. He looks like a Fortnite skin. I hate him.
You know, Big Choop, that's not chooperific, not one bit.
Yeah, you said it, little Choop. They shouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like you now. Little Choop's my sidekick. Thank you. Oh, you thought that was it? So you know the Happy Meal, the cardboard box with the purpose of happily getting apples ripped out of it with a joyous grin, the same pleasant one we saw back in prior decades? Well, guess what? It has teeth now. This species is known as the Happy.
Maybe it was just, me living up in Canada or something like that. But, like, I have never gotten a Happy Meal that came in a box. I mean, I wouldn't get one now because I think they actually have started doing that now up here. But, like, I would never get one, for the simple fact that, one, I'd have to buy a lot of it to actually fill me up. Two, McDonald's, so again, overpriced. But three, I mean, for the longest time, I remember, like anything, Happy Meals when I was a kid were in a brown paper bag. Or was it a white paper bag? No, yeah, it was a white paper bag, and they had, like, the games and stuff. They had, like, the mazes and other things on the bags themselves. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, God. All those happy childhood memories I just had are just gone now looking at these freaks.
When it's plural, they're the Happies. In this decade, they fully dominate the McDonald's story. They get to be in all the cool crossover commercials. They get to sing and scare everyone. They look like Aardman characters, but worse. These are basically the McDonald's versions of the Minions and the Rabbids, a small marketable army meant to appease Facebook moms, which is funny considering they all interact with each other. Annoying recognizes annoying. Thankfully, they mostly keep to themselves. The only real place they roam around is the location of Happy City, most likely existing in another branch of McDonald's land. So you know what? As long as that evil is contained, I think we're fine. Around this period...
Yeah, Happy Land is surrounded in a wall, but it's not to keep people out of a Happy Land. It's to keep the Happies out of McDonald's land.
We also have Ferris's Fun Funky Farm, an unrelated collection of cartoons preaching about the fruit and dairy within the McDonald's Happy Meals, claiming the milk and apples are good for you. Now, this is fine, cute art style.
Yeah, only the fruit and apples. Everything else is literal garbage.
All kind of weird that they keep getting McDonald's out on the farm like this, but McDonald's, if you're gonna try marketing the milk and sliced apples in a wet plastic bag and claim that they're healthy, you fail to recognize what McDonald's is. You go to McDonald's when you want an easy cheat meal and want to eat burgers that have buns that taste like the foam and yoga mats. Don't ask me how I know that. Wow, another period in the timeline where nothing was gained or lost, purely interactions with other popular characters, which is something that the McDonald's cast has been doing for years already. Currently, we're burdened with a genuinely awkward period in our timeline. Nothing happens outside of silly slapstick antics. This sure is something, but I hesitate to say if it's good or bad. In fact, I would say this was hard to watch even outside of the commercials. I personally don't know know if I'd prefer this change or not, but early on McDonald's were a lot more whimsical and designed for fun. As times have changed, these restaurants have transitioned to being more dull, more universally acceptable. Most of the time just a sadder place to be in comparison to what it seems. Modern McDonald's looks like what would happen when the evil businessman successfully takes over the town. Even ignoring the restaurants, we have some outside that didn't help. In like 2016, there was this weird time point where people would dress
there
up
we
as
go,
clowns.
yeah.
This was a weird phase, just a lot of weird people standing outside in clown getups. There grew a ton of concern against clowns with a lot of anti-clown movement. It set the goofy nose people back 20 years. Though you gotta realize there's some good clowns out there. I'm pro-clown. I support people who believe Hollow Knight Silk Song's gonna release, for God's sake.
Oh god. How many years has it been since that was first announced? Ugh. But again, like I don't get the fear of clowns. Honestly, I don't.
Ronald must have felt horrible during all of this. He's proven he has good in his heart. In the position I'm in, I can absolutely appreciate what he's done for the communities, promoting McDonald's or not. Maybe he just wanted more people to come visit him in McDonald's land. It's clear that he loves making a difference and doing good stuff, entertaining, helping those in need. He's so invested in... He's gone door to door to visit families. Oh no, Ronald. It's no coincidence that Ronald was specifically targeted from the 2016 clown sightings. But when the world needed Ronald the most, and when Ronald needed us the most, we turned on him. Ronald has essentially been retired because he canonically cannot help how he looks. Tragically, Ronald McDonald is, by technicality, a victim of clown segregation. And truthfully, knowing everything we do now, knowing everything we've seen him do, and everything he's capable of, it's hard to sit on the side and watch, knowing for certain he deserved better. So I guess we won't be seeing him anymore. The common consensus is that clowns are scary. The general population shuns clowns from being embraced further. But not me, though. I think clowns are hot. The 2020s. There might just be a silver lining here. McDonald's started promoting the adult Happy Meals with Grimace, Birdie, and a significantly uglier Hamburglar. I missed the Cabbage Patch Smile.
Why did he have 4 eyes? Why did he have 4 eyes?
Kind of Stockholmy way. One of the adult toys sees the side characters driving with Cactus Buddy, who I think is a Travis Scott thingy. I'm not too sure. I'm as white as I sound. I listen to anime openings and video game OSTs. My playlist mostly includes songs like Clarity and the one that plays at the end of Surf's Up. Even though they all look like they drank water that had a ton of chemicals in it, I'm glad to see everyone is back to normal. Cactus Buddy can drive so good, it's scary how many mascots can drive, but we're not gonna worry about that. I would also assume this is McDonald's land. I'm not so sure though. At least the whole gang is here to an extent. However, this wasn't enough. Not for Grimace.
The Grimace shake,
no.
right? Yeah, how
Then
could I forget
came
about
the Grimace
that?
Shake, a beverage of severe and horrifying capabilities. You saw the trends. Funny TikTok man takes a slurp of the purple stuff from this 900-pound beast of purple stuff, and then... Well, nobody has lived to tell the tale of what happens, but if the aftermath is any indicator, Grimace has fallen back into his evil ways, and we should be concerned about the future, especially the youth. Don't allow your kids to drink the purple. Grimace has connections and we should be afraid. And after this, in just a few short months, we would see McDonald's land again, this time with the Nugget Buddies. I miss when they were endorsing eating themselves. It's been too long, like literally too long. The well-regarded musician Kerwin Frost has successfully infiltrated McDonald's land, successfully bringing it back to the public eye. McDonald's land still shines and possibly will see the rise of a new era. So thank you, Kerwin Frost. You've saved McDonald's land. This is truly the best case scenario all around. That son of a bitch, he's still
God,
alive.
no,
So
it's
there you have
Shake,
it.
no!
That's the whole adventure. Now, regarding the future, we're actually not entirely sure of what to expect next, but if the past couple years were any indicator, we should expect a lot of old faces sooner than later. I'd imagine Mactonite might be next. Kinda doubt it, because I'm pretty sure a few years back he got used as a hate symbol, so he actually might be permanently retired.
What? When and by who?
Happy might make a demonic return way down the line as nostalgia bait, because it would be funny. Till then, we can only wait and see how this company that really never needs to advertise ever again decides how to advertise. I hope these guys continue to be used. I hope Birdie actually does anything of value for this line of characters other than be a bird. I hope McDonald's
Other
is
than be a
prosperous. I hope
bird.
Grimace doesn't turn to evil again. I hope that Hamburglar finally sticks with being good or not. And I hope Ronald wherever he is and wherever he may be, can finally come home and rejoin his group of friends. But if not, I'm sure he's enjoying his time with his loving wife and beautiful bouncing Ronaldlings that are also characters that exist because, friendly reminder, Ronald has a body count.
Again, of course they had to make his wife the sexy clown girl. Ugh.
Also, before anyone leaves comments about plagiarism or anything in specific regarding this video that was released recently, this video script has been completed since January of 2024, and I publicly announced that I would delay it indefinitely for reasons I won't get into. To give an idea, it was supposed to be released instead of this video. I planned my uploads months in advance, in this case over a year. Neither one of us stole from the other, the situation was pure coincidence. I didn't finish watching this video until production of this one was completed, so I'm not accountable. And that's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you flip this statistic around so I can afford to go to a Comic-Con or something. I got plenty more of these little rambles in video that I would recommend if you enjoyed. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this little talk. Just like the sewers, you can really only find something truly endearing if you dig for it. With that being said, I hope you guys are ready for more exciting adventures with Little Choop. He'll be joining me on all sorts of adventures forever and ever, depending on if it's convenient.
Oh god, what's gonna happen?
Big Choop, I'm hungry.
Well, what do you want me to do about it? We're in a sewer, Little Choop.
I don't know. I just thought you might have a solution, being large and in charge and all.
We can go get grapes in a minute. Just let me finish this. Also, why did you follow me down here? If you're gonna be hungry, that's on you. I'm not gonna do anything yet. Let me finish. Oh. Ew.
Yeah, I believe that's why we're not going to see Little Choop ever again. He died of the plague. Oh god. Oh god. Again, like, maybe it's the fact I just don't watch that much TV anymore. Or, you know, maybe it's because I also live in Canada, who knows. But, like, I've never seen any of these newer commercials. So, I mean, maybe, hopefully, you know, they'll dust off Ronald and they'll bring him back. Who knows? I mean, either way, there's a good chance I might not see it, but who cares about that? Oh, God. But, yeah, that's definitely going to be it. So, yeah, of course, as always, original video is linked in the description if you haven't seen it yet for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day. And, yeah, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.